Hello there, people of the internet. How is everybody doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. Have you guys ever noticed that the people in the comments section who seem to think that they know everything about firearms tend to be people who don't actually go out to shoot, or the things that they shoot is like their experience in what they shoot is extraordinarily limited. Like, I have had just a tremendous number of comments, and this might sound like me complaining, it's not. But I've had a tremendous number of comments of me saying, hey, this is this way because of my experience, and then people will tell me that I am wrong, or that I'm inexperienced, or that XYZ thing is the case because of their experience. And then their experience will be from 30 or 40 years ago using antiquated technology, or it will be based off of, I don't know, their one gun that they have that they take out for hunting season, you know, once or twice a year, or it will be based around some old thing, some old method, maybe some army training from whenever they were in army in Vietnam, or maybe some sort of something, and they don't have any experience with whatever it is that I'm talking about. And then as a result, they'll tell me that I'm wrong with my assessment of what I'm talking about because they haven't experienced it. Now, like I said, that sounds like me complaining. It is not. Whenever it comes to what people know with firearms, and I myself, I never really claim to know anything. I have things that I think I know, but there's always going to be some sort of exception with what it is that you know. There's always going to be some sort of outlier, some sort of thing you didn't take into consideration that will always lean you towards being wrong in that particular instance. Like, actually, this is a really good example. If I talk about how the AR 223-556, this right here is probably the best platform rifle combination, rifle cartridge combination for the average person, I get just a tremendous amount of hate because there's much better cartridges out there than the 223, and yes, I 100% understand that, I agree. But 95% of the people who are using a firearm for anything, like, their capabilities are well within the realms of the capabilities of the 556 cartridge. Their needs are well within what the 556 cartridge can do. Most people aren't going after big game. Most people aren't doing things that they require a full power cartridge to do. Most people can't even shoot beyond 100 yards, let alone the 500 or 600 yards that your 556 really maxes out at. And even then, you can touch out beyond that. There's tons of YouTube videos on people taking the 556 out to 1,000 yards very effectively. But there will be people in the comments down below who tell me that they were in the Army, so they know what they're talking about, because back then they used the M14, or they used the 30-06, and it's a much better cartridge than the anemic, pathetic thing that we have nowadays. And yeah, 100% I agree, the 556 is not a full power cartridge, but that's not the discussion here. The discussion is for the average person, but they're just so set in their ways. They're like, this is superior, so it must be best for the average person. Well, there's a reason why militaries all around the world have adopted intermediate cartridges, because they're lightweight, light recoiling, a lot cheaper, a lot more cost-effective. You can carry a lot of it with not a whole lot of space in comparison to a full-power rifle cartridge. The firearms themselves are oftentimes manufactured significantly more simply than a lot of your, say, battle rifles or things like that. They're just an all-around, easier go-to cartridge that can do 95% of the jobs. And even though the discussion is what is best for most people, they're set in their ways because that's their experience. They're like 30-06 or 308 or whatever cartridge it is that they want. They're like, this is the best because I said so. And I'm like, all right, that might be the best for you, but it's not going to be the best for the average person. But that's just an example. Or another example, I'll talk about the capabilities of having optics, and still I have people in the comments telling me that if they run optics, they're going to be better with iron sights because they know iron sights better. I don't care how good you are with iron sights, and you might be just a master, like a sentry turret level style of master, just bang, 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 right? Just not like from muscle memory being able to do these things. I don't care how good you are with iron sights. That's 2 points of contact that you have to, or not 2 points of contact, 2 points of, what would you call it? That's two different things that you have to line up before you line up with your target. And those two things that you have to line up, yes, you might be really fast and really good and really capable at it, but just from a biological and scientific standpoint, if you only had one thing that you were looking at and you didn't have to worry about lining up any sights or anything like that, and you just had the dot on a red dot, and you look through that red dot down at your target, all you do is you put that dot on target, which is lit up, and you can very easily see. Like, even if you are vastly superior with iron sights, or so you say, even if that is what you've known for the past 5 decades, if you are given a red dot, like a properly zeroed red dot, I have no doubts that you would be able to perform better with that red dot than you would with iron sights, especially if we're talking out at longer distances. Lining up iron sights for those longer distances, I mean, yeah, it's 100% doable, don't get me wrong, but having something like a 3x9 scope or something with some magnification to it will always be a better option because you can see your target better. But there's people out there who just have no experience with optics and they just use the iron sights because that's what they know. And by all means, you go ahead and you do that. I'm not telling you not to do that. If you want to use iron sights, go for it, dude. But whenever people tell me that iron sights are going to be better than an optic, then nah, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. They might be good enough to do whatever job it is that you're doing, but they're not going to be better than an optic. Actually, this is a good example. I've got this right here. This is my Delton DTI. I use this for coyote hunting. But I got a red dot on this thing with a 2 MOA on it, and it is just phenomenal for picking up targets, especially if they're moving. Have you tried shooting a moving target with iron sights? It's not the easiest thing, especially if it's a coyote. Those little guys are fast. But with a red dot, it's a lot simpler. But I've got my iron sights right here. They flip up. It's an aperture, ghost ring rear sight, and just standard post front sight. And I mean, I have them and they work, but if you are doing anything that's not just point blank shooting, you can do it better with the red dot. It's just got the illumination and the one thing you have to look at. But beyond that, if you have something that you have to touch out, like, I don't know about you guys, but my eyesight's really not all that great. I'm sure some of you guys have really good eyesight. But beyond like 100 yards or maybe even 200 yards, aiming with iron sights, yes, doable, but spotting your target starts to get sketchy at that point. Unless it's like a spray-painted steel target on a flat range, then hitting something, like if it's some two-legged critter taking cover, or maybe there's some camouflage involved, or maybe it's, I don't know, some game that you're going after that is starting to move around or anything like that, guess what? I don't care what you say about iron sights. Having some sort of magnification to be able to see at those distances is going to be the better option. Now, if you can do it with iron sights, like I said, you go for it, dude. Like, hats off to you. Have at it. Just don't go telling me that I need to go doing iron sights, because I'm thoroughly under the impression that optics are the better option. Keep some backup iron sights just in case you need them. Don't get me wrong. They definitely have their benefits. Those optics, they break, they crack, they fog up, batteries die, etc., etc. Iron sights are definitely the more durable, assuming that you're not rocking like plastic Chinesium iron sights or anything like that. But that's just another example of somebody who just doesn't have experience with, say, modern optics, but they have experience with iron sights, and it works for them, so they say that they're going to be best with it, but they don't have the experience with anything modern to say that they're not best with it. And in the event that I'm sure somebody down in the comments is going to say, I tried using a red or I tried using an optic or something like that, but I'm still better with iron sights because it's what I know. If you try it for a day at a range or something like that, it's different. It's gonna take time for you to adapt to it. But once you adapt to it, your skills with that optic are going to be significantly better than your skills without it. That's one of the reasons why modern optics are on all of the modern guns. A lot of your modern guns don't even come with iron sights anymore because they're just going to throw modern optics on it. Look at our military, the U.S. military. There for a while they were using ACOGs. I think it's like a 3, maybe 4 power scope, essentially, sitting on top of your rifle. It's like a fixed LPVO, if you will. And that was used with such devastating effectiveness in comparison to the previous iron sights. Like, it really did show how, for most people, an optic, especially a zoomed optic, is dramatically better than just your iron sights that you have to manually line up. Of course, I guess we could, like, start looking at shotguns, in which case none of that matters. But a lot of these people that go into the comments and they'll tell not just me but other people in the comments, I don't care if you yell at me, just don't yell at the people in the comments. That's our community, guys, and we gotta stick together. Save your griping for the things that I'm doing wrong in your eyes. But they'll go into the comments and they'll tell whoever, like, hey, you're wrong because you're an idiot because my experience is different. And that's just how humans work, I guess. So thanks for watching, appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you all in the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.